197 heads of states, and there are only 11% women. Out of 500 top revenue generating organizations, only 4.2% are led by women. And globally, in politics, only 18% women have offices. Well, men clearly still rule the world. The reason I chose Lean In is because I think it is Sheryl Sandberg's legacy to each one of us to make a difference, to change the world. And I want to share what she talks about in her book. So the best part about the book is that it's very, very simple. She talks about interesting things backed by data, by research, and her own personal experiences that are doable and can make a difference. Another beautiful thing is that she argues that besides the societal conditioning and the gender stereotyping, the biggest factor that stands between success and women are they themselves. I know it's a little controversial, but you'll get to see what I'm talking as we move along. So the first thing that she says is sit at the table. And she narrates this incident when she called the Secretary of Treasury and his team for a very important meeting. And the team had 4 women. So when they came for the meeting, the men, all the male attendees, sat at the table. And these women, they chose to sit on the side chairs. And she said, they were just reduced to mere spectators. They were never the participants. So she urges women never ever to do this. She says, you must own your space. You must be confident. And let's say you don't have the confidence, fake it till you make it. And she talks a lot about how she, while studying, then later at work, did it plenty of times. Well, she also agrees that, it's a little tight rope for women because at times, if they're too assertive, they're taken to be bossy. So she talks about this thing. How is it success and likability different for men and women? Again, she talks about an experiment that was done by Harvard University. It was a social experiment that tested the perception of men and women at workforce. And in this case study, the students were told about this gentleman called Howard and this lady called Heidi. Both of them used influence, their professional, personal networking, to become very successful venture capitalists. And the students were asked, who would you like to be more like? The students said they loved Howard. They wanted to be like him. But when it came to Heidi, they said they didn't like her. They would never hire someone like her, and forget it, they would not want to emulate her. So she proves that success has a positive correlation to likability for men, but when it comes to women, it's a little different. But she says, don't worry, do your bit, be authentic and move on. Next thing she talks about is the tiara syndrome. She says that, women have this thing of feeling that if I'm doing a great job, my job would get noticed. People would appreciate it, give me the promotion, give me the next raise. She says this doesn't happen. Which world are you living in? She says learn from the men. You have to talk about what you're worth. What's the value add you do? What's the value you bring in? Ask for what is your due. This is interesting. So she says that as women, it would be a good idea if you start viewing your careers as a jungle gym and not as a ladder. She says as women get married and you have kids, you have more responsibilities. Many a times if you think of your career as a ladder, it's difficult because there's only one way of reaching the top if you're thinking of it as a ladder. But if you think of it as a jungle gym, there are plenty of ways to navigate. So instead of quitting, think creatively. Think how can I do it differently? Hang in there, do not quit. Okay, this one is my favorite. She says the most important decision a woman makes is to make her partner a real partner. She says, equality begins at home. So, and don't have this notion of having a perfect 50-50 with your partner. Think of it like a swinging pendulum. 70-20, 60-40, but go do it. Do something at least. And the World Economic Forum data, it says that men in America, they contribute to about 30% in household work, parenting. Closer home, 10%. So you know what? As a society, maybe it's time for us to reflect. I would say stop empowering women. Stop empowering women. In fact, start enabling men to handle those empowered women. That is very, very critical. The next one is done is better than perfect. Again, she talks about how women have this, image of, I'm the superhero. I have to be a perfect 10. Mother, daughter, wife, host, want to have a fabulous party, want to be this superhero at work. She said, don't do this. Who does this? You know what? Do what is critical. Take in what really matters and the rest delegate. You don't have to do it. You'll burn out. This is where she talks about women being more risk-taking and, having an appetite for doing something that they haven't the full picture of. And she says this has got more to do with the way we bring our boys and girls. So boys are brought up in a manner to be more adventurous. They're encouraged to be adventurous. And girls are told to be more nurturing. So each one of us, we bring up our boys and girls. I think we need to change that because that behavior translates to work. And there's enough data that says that when there's a job opening or a new project, men apply even if they meet 30% of the criteria. But women, on the other hand, tick all the, all the criteria. So they have to have it 100%. So don't do it. You just go ahead and apply for the job if you have it. This is my favorite actually. So this is that women who don't help other women have a special place in hell. I totally believe in it. You know what? We need to help the young girls who are climbing the ladder of whichever profession they're working at. Someone did it for us, and my take is even if no one did it for us, is it not absolutely absurd for us to ask men to behave differently when we are not doing our job the right way? So let's do this starting today.